Okay, good morning, good evening, everybody. Can everyone hear me just fine? I'm just sharing my screen right now. Should be visible as well. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so guys, my name is Navin Prithiani. I am your host for tonight. I am from urbanforex.com as the senior trader there and mentor. So how's everyone doing today? Okay, seems to be audio and video seems to be fine. Okay, all good. Anything particular you guys are looking into the markets? Let me open up these charts. Okay, pound USD. Okay. So we're going to do some live analysis today. We got like approximately 40, 45 minutes together here. And so let's get straight into it. If there's any questions, just stop me. I'll be more than happy to help as this is a premium group. So I want to thank FX Street for organizing all of this to make sure you guys have a more VIP feeling in these webinars. So if there is any questions, you don't have to wait until the end. You can stop me. We'll go over it and, we'll tackle any issues that you might come up with. So, all right, so let's go over some live analysis here. Let's look at what we have for us this week. Okay, so let's start with pound USD as Mohammed's question is. So open up pound USD. Can everyone see each other's chat, or can you guys just only see my stuff? You guys see each other's chat as well, right? Because I just want to make sure if I should read the question out loud, or you guys can just simply see it. Chart is fine. Okay. Anyways, I'll just repeat the question out loud whenever there's a question. Okay. So pound USD, some top-down analysis here. What are we doing here? What does pound look like it's doing? Okay, we're on the daily chart here. What are we looking like what we're doing on pound? Are we in buyer's territory like this? Are we in seller's territory like that? Are we in a range like that? Okay, typical questions that come up. Okay, because if you're a buyer, the way you analyze the market will be different than if you're a seller. And it's also going to be different than as if you're a range trader. Because a range trader would say, I don't do anything right now. A seller says prepare for sell. A buyer will say prepare for buys. A range guy is on the sideline. So knowing this key information is important. Okay, so it all comes down to what time frame you guys trade. So let's hear it. Okay, what time frames do you guys trade? Are you guys short-term traders, medium-term, swing traders, long-term? What kind of traders are you guys? Actually, any of you guys been here before to my last webinar here at FX Street or any of my other webinars? Adam J is saying short-term. Okay, okay. We'll look into that immediately. Okay, so who's new here? Who's new? Who's here for the first time and do not know me or seen any of my webinars on YouTube or anything like that? Anyone new in here today for the first time? Joe Yu is saying swing and counter. Counter inside swing. Okay. 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 2 years ago or more. Okay. Pat Cats. Okay. All right. So let's start with that short term that Adam answered earlier. Let's look into that quick. So as short-term traders, we don't want to be looking at daily. We want to be looking at something like 1 hour time frames. Okay. Now on the 1 hour time frame, we clearly have a different picture here, right? I want you guys to understand one concept. How does trading work for you guys? How do you trade? Okay? Just think about it for a minute. For you to trade, do you just go in and say, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to draw my support resistance, and whichever line touches first is going to decide my action. If it touches the upper line, I will sell. If it touches this line, I will buy. Is that how you guys are trading, or is there some logic to it? Okay, because The reason why I asked this question is because every student I come across generally has this as their logic, as I trade based on what I see according to my drawings, and that drawing is subjective. Is that support resistance? Is this support resistance? So which one is it? Because that's going to give you two different answers. Okay? All right. So, a couple things you want to keep in mind. Trading comes with a number that's like this. Okay? I'm sure you guys have heard this before. Plenty of times. 95.5, right? Everyone know that concept? Okay, it's a typical concept everyone talks about. Trading is a 95.5 game. Now, if 95% are losing and only 5% are winning, there must be something to it, right? There must be something to it. That means all the education that you have got until today must be from the internet, or a book, or a neighbor, or TV, somewhere like that, right? Which makes you wonder, am I in the 95 or am I in the 5? Or do I keep using the information I know and push it as hard as I can to hope to be in the 5? Which means I hop strategies all day long until I get one that gives me no losses. Right? So this is the general mentality of the average trader that comes in and says, I'm going to do whatever I can to find that system or strategy that will make me win forever. Okay, keeping this in mind, the 95.5 concept. And I'm going to explain one interesting thing to you guys because this is how the world works. Okay? And I can say that with ultra confidence. Markets go up. Boom, since a lot of you guys are new here. Markets go up. Okay? Markets go up. This is the big boys buying. Markets start to pull back. Okay? Which means some confirmation is needed. Like, oh, will it continue to rise? I'm not really sure. And then it continues to rise. And in that rise, around here, is where some neighbors start to get in. They're like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to see if I can make some money with this real estate or Apple stock or Google, whatever it is, somewhere around there. And then market tends to pull back a little bit. And then they're like, oh man, I don't know if it's going to go back up anymore. And then as it starts to rise, here comes 80 to 85% of the world now. Ah, I saw my neighbor make money, saw everyone else make money. Why can't I make money? I need confirmation first. Which means, look at this area where the buy is happening for the retail trader. Look at the area where the pros initially started the trend from. Okay? Now let me ask you guys this question. How many of you guys have iPhones or Samsung Galaxies or, a smartphone that's either iPhone and iOS based or Android based? How many of you guys have a smartphone? Yeah? Okay, seems like all of you guys have smartphones. Now, let me ask you guys one question. Now, is the average smartphone going anywhere between $200 all the way up to $1,500, right? Now, you're looking at a smartphone. The smartphone's currently in the store for $500. And then they raise the price to $700. And then they raise the price to $1,000. And then $1,500. Is that the time when you say, oh, perfect. Let me buy the phone for $1,500 at the absolute highest price, so then I can hope it can continue to go higher to make a profit, right? Because it was going higher before, so why not will it go higher after? Okay, so to retail traders, we call them participants. They chase the market, okay? Okay, and the pros, we call them anticipators. There's a difference between these two people. An anticipator gauges the market. A participator simply says, show me, and I'll just hop on. Right? Does everyone agree? So do you see, would you say, how many of you guys can say that you've been in this part right here before? You're always getting in at the last price and it looks all perfect and then the market turns around and you're like, what the hell, man? Why am I having so much bad luck? Why am I always losing? How's that even possible? Like every single time I lose. You know, even a flip of a coin makes money sometimes, right? It's just like, how is this possible? I've studied so much. How is this possible, right? Okay, so this is the concept. This is how it works because it works on emotion based. So if it's a 95-5 concept and you're keeping track of, am I an anticipator or am I a participator? Am I joining the market once it's too obvious? Okay, so the goal for today's lesson is going to be don't be Mr. Obvious. Okay, buy the phone when it's at a discount. When the price is too high, sell it. Get rid of it. Okay? So it's like, okay, well, Navin, it's easier said than done. How do we do that on a chart? Shall we put this into practice? Okay, you guys ready? Let me show this to you how it works on a chart. Okay, generally I don't share these concepts in the public, but since this is a VIP room and a premium group for the elite at FX Street, we're gonna get into this. Yeah, the first move is very mysterious to the traders, right? So take a look at this. You see this first move right here? Here's the first move right here. That's the move that started going upwards for the very first time. But that first move is not visible to the naked eye because the naked eye is looking at this as a sell. Which means they're not anticipators, they're participators. By the time prices start to get a little bit higher, they're still looking at it as a sell. By the time prices get even higher, at this point, people start switching their mind like, every time I think it's a sell and I sell, market goes higher. It must not be a sell, it must be a buy. Buy. What happens to that buy then? Crash. Oh man, I must really have bad luck. The stars must not be aligned for me. How many of you guys feel this? You guys have this feeling before? It was like, what the hell is going on every time I take a trade? I don't care what strategy I learn. I don't care what system I practice, what EAs and MAs I implement on my charts. It always gets in very late. Okay? Because humans are no different from indicators. They're laggards. They just follow what they see. Okay? The herd mentality, right? Okay, so let's take a look at this. If I put this concept in a quick nutshell for you guys, think of it this way. When the markets are going down and you know the big boy says sell. Okay, when I say big boy, I'm going to say overall trend being the big boy. Who can move the markets? Can you and I move the markets? With all the money we have from all of our savings, our entire lifetime, and our family's generations, can we move the market? No. No, we don't have that much cash flow. We don't have that kind of capital to move the market. Okay? Especially considering you might want to buy, I might want to sell. So how the hell are we going to move the market, especially if we don't even have so much money? It must be all of us put together in one direction is what can move the market, but no one thinks like that. Everyone's just buying and selling at any given time. So only the big pocketed people can definitely move the market. We're talking about banks, institutions, and the big boys. That's what we refer to as the big boys, right? So if only they can move the market, then anything that you see on a chart from here to here is nothing but a receipt. Okay, we call this receipts as if when you go to a store or a restaurant, you have your dinner, and then when you're leaving, they give you the bill, and when you pay the bill, you get a receipt. Now, if you see receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt, and you start collecting it, can you start to pick up on the behavior of the buying and selling behavior of the big boy? Okay, once you start doing that, that's what we call technical analysis. It is nothing but us being prejudiced based on the receipts saying, I think I know what this guy is going to buy next. Or what he's going to sell next. Does that make sense? It's not for you. It's just a past history. It's just a receipt. We're just trying to use that receipt to be like, do I know this guy well enough? So, if I was to tell you guys, here, I want you to just focus on this bit right here. Does that give you a good outlook on what this guy is really all about? Just focus on that last yellow green candle. Does that tell you everything you need to know about this person who's buying and selling and is showing you what kind of person he is? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, you need to know his behavior, how he acts, what he does. If this is a guy who constantly buys sneakers and then a tennis racket, you can pretty much be like, oh, maybe he's going to get a hat, a baseball cap. Maybe he's going to get, a sports watch instead of a luxury watch. You start to pick up on the rhythm. Okay? But if you just focus on one little receipt and saying, okay, I got what he's going to do next, you increase the chances of failure, not winning. You increase the chances of failure. Okay. Fundamentals aside. Okay, how do we put this into play, into the market? So, big boy moving the market downwards. Overall trend, downtrend, right? Now, overall trend, downtrend, which means the market's been coming down, 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 down. I want you to look at it this way. You ready? I'm going to move the chart like this. If you come in to the office today and you sit down on your trading desk and you see this piece right here, what comes to your mind? What do you want to do today? Do you want to buy? No, you want to sell. That's the average mentality. You want to sell. That's good. That's good. That's the big boy. That's the big boy's flow. Because he's getting rid of something. We're picking up on that. Now, to make money in this industry, you need to also pick up on his strategies and techniques to get the 95% doing the exact same thing. Now, how do you get the 95% to do the exact same thing at the same time while at any given point, all of you guys in the conference room might be doing a buy, I might be doing a sell, and then sometimes we're both doing a buy, sometimes we're both doing a sell, and it's all over the place because you're trading 1 hour, somebody's trading the daily, somebody's trading the 4 hours. So it's like, how in the world do we all do the same thing at the same time? What makes us do that? Panic, emotions. A sudden shift in the market is going to get people eyeballing it. Okay? That's the one time the whole world gets shocked and starts looking at the market. They're like, oh my God, what just happened? Okay? So take a look at this. In this sell phase, even when these green candles come up to here, what happens to the eyeballs of the individual? They're like, what did I just see? Whoa, sorry. It's the worst eyes ever. Square eyes. It looks like I'm a Japanese cartoonist. Okay. So it's like, what is this? You're seeing that, but you're still looking at the overall downtrend. So no one still buys. Everyone's still thinking it's sell, but I'm not sure what's going on. Further down the line, it tries to go up again. And they're like, holy crap, it's not a sell, it's turning into a buy. I should buy it now before I lose my Ferrari. I need to buy it now. Now the big boy at this stage sees an increased amount of buyers coming in. Remember that big boy who's trying to get rid of something? If he wants to get rid of something and an increased amount of buyers coming in, can he not sell his item at a better price? Can he not sell his iPhone at $1,500 instead of $300? Yes or no? Come on. No more deer in the headlights. You guys have done this enough. It's time to step up the game and be like, okay, I see it. I get it. Do you see where the main mistake happens? People buy with buyers and they sell with sellers when the opposite should be happening. You're supposed to buy from the seller. You're supposed to sell to the buyer. You don't hop in with the overall flow that's already in progress kind of thing. Then you're getting in too late. So Yeah, Abdul saying if one sees it, it's a buy, it's too late. Yeah, that's a general concept in life. You hear about an opportunity, if it reaches your ears, that means it's already too late. That's the reason why they call it an opportunity, because someone's been doing it already, someone's made money from it. Why don't you do it too? Which means you're on the second or last swing of that opportunity by the time you hear about it. Okay? It's like saying, oh man, I think a Google is a good company to buy. Yeah, like 10 years later. You know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. Yeah, and the big boys know this very, very well. The markets have been running for a very long time. It's the general core concepts of business. It's the core principles of supply and demand. If the product is doing well, keep raising the price. If the product is doing bad, discount it, get rid of it, sell it, lower the price. All of that stuff. And the chart is nothing but a display of the big boy doing it every single day. Every single day. So take a look at here. Big boy, overall trend, buyer. Okay? And then this massive sell happens. And they're like, what the hell? But no one is still thinking it's a sell because they're still looking at this as, if I connect my trend lines, it's got to be a buy, man. What are you talking about? That's a buy. It's just a pullback for me to get a better entry for a buy. And then the sell comes in again. They're like, oh, I guess it's a sell. Enter. It's not enter here, it's enter here. When it's obvious, Mr. Hindsight kind of stuff. Oh, I guess it's a sell. So if that's a sell right there, it should work. But if the big boy is overall buying, then shouldn't it go upwards? If that's all of his receipts are saying this is all a buyer's market, shouldn't the market proceed upwards? All he needs to do is collect enough sellers. And once you get that rhythm of, I can see where people are selling, what do you think this thing will do? How many of you guys can see this and say, oh yeah, if I saw that live, like live with the news being released and that thing just collapsing, I probably would have jumped on. I would. 10 years ago, that's what I used to do all the time. I used to just jump on that thing like, oh my God, I need to get into that sell, otherwise I'm gonna miss it. And that panic would make, yeah, exactly, panic, right? Would make me get into the sell where? At this price somewhere here. Somewhere down there. I'm not predicting the price up here. There's no way. I'm trying to get in here because I'm trying to participate. Okay? Not knowing that I'm being lured into a trap. Like an animal. Okay? I become the bait. And once I'm willing to sell my product at a lower price, the big boy says, well, thank you very much. I'm in the buying season, and while you're selling, I am happy to take whatever you have to offer at a low price because I'm in the buying mood. And then he takes it up for a buy. And the buy is oblivious to most people because they're still in the selling mood until they start seeing it up in this area and they're like, I guess it's a buy. And they start participating in the buys up in this range. And look at what happens to that buy. Crash. This happens time and time and time again. How many of you guys feel you guys have an aha moment today? Can you guys feel you guys are starting to feel exactly at what point the mistakes are happening? Yeah? Is everyone just quiet? Are you guys falling asleep or something like that? What's going on here? Okay, these fast moves, so Abdul says these fast move usually turns the price the other way at the end of the obvious trend. Yeah, if it's too obvious, it's too late. It's simple as that. People work on opportunity rather than trying to control risk. Okay, yeah, and that's very good, Joe. It's just, I see it, but don't know how to avoid it. Okay, because here's the thing. Here's a general concept of if you want to find a way to avoiding it. And that's a good question, actually. If you see yourself buying with buyers, it's going to fail. If you see yourself selling with sellers, it's gonna fail. You need to anticipate enough to say, I'm gonna be buying from the sellers. So, but that must mean, doesn't that mean I have to top pick or bottom pick? And how do I know I have to buy here and not here? Is that right? Okay, this is a common question, right? How do I know? What if I bought it from here thinking this is the bottom of the sell? So that would have been a loss, right? So it's like, oh man, okay, how that ends, when that ends, is when it becomes oblivious. Okay, when it becomes oblivious. So now let me do this. You see this big uptrend right here? This big one right here? Very, very big one. Okay, yeah, it's $1 million question, and I'm gonna answer it to you guys in 10 seconds, basically. Watch this. Okay, I'm gonna take you up to the 4 hours. This requires multi-time frame analysis as well. Okay. I'm going to remove this arrow so you guys can see properly. I'm going to get rid of everything else. I'm going to show you that same arrow, this up move here, that big trend that we saw, right? Everyone see that so far? Okay. In this trend, you can clearly see buyer's market, right? You can clearly see for this time frame, this is your support equals resistance, correct? Everyone see that so far? Simple technical analysis, right? Yes? Can I get some yeses? Is everyone with me? Good. Good. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So if that is buyer's market, well, what do we need? We're not going to be buying with buyers. So our goal is give me some sellers, but I don't want sellers. I want deer in the headlights. Okay? What's a deer in the headlights? What is that? Okay. Now I'm going to take it down a time frame. And I'm going to start looking at that line I drew and be like, okay, do you see this entire up move? When this up move comes down to here, how much percentage of a pullback would you guys say that is? 20%. Now that pullback, anyone who's been following that buy since earlier in that month, all the way up till there, and then it pulls back 20%. Do you think they're letting go of their buys and saying, oh my God, it's no longer a buy, it's a sell, man, get rid of it? How many people are panicking at this stage? Nobody. Nobody. Which makes this oblivious still. No one knows it's a sell. Okay. Then it goes down a little bit further. I'm going to extend this line out. How much percentage of a pullback is that? Okay, yeah. 38%, 40%, maybe, no, from the entire up move, Abdul, this entire up move, how much percentage pullback do you think that is? 30, 40%, right? It's like, it's not so much. Now, having that said, do you guys notice this piece right here? Do you think these guys are panicking yet? Because that's support equals resistance coming in. What do you think happens once this chart starts to move upwards again a bit? All those original buyers who were buying saying, it's still a buy, dude. It's still a buy. What's wrong with you? Thank God I didn't listen to your advice to get rid of it. It's still a buy. Okay, so the buyers are activating, and some people who are losing a bit of money, they actually add more positions at this point. But now comes this risky part. Look at the way the red candles look once it starts to come around here. Would you say they're getting more aggressive, these red candles? The more aggressive they get, how many people do you think are still focusing on this big red up move? During that aggression, who has their eye on this? No one. You guys remember when the Malaysian airline disappeared a long time ago? Sudden panic in the market. You come back from just dealing with, oh my God, that Malaysian airline disappeared, and you're like, what happened in Ukraine? The whole country got disappeared, or Russia just stole it. It's the same concept. It's like playing chess. You have people take their eye off the market for 1 second, and you get them in the wrong direction, or you keep the agenda mixed up with celebrity politics and this and that, and in the back end a bigger picture is being played. Markets are the same thing. Nature does the same thing. The universe does the same thing. It's the same rules over and over again. And I'm just trying to educate you here and saying, if you understand these rules, you have an upper hand on that same strategy that you're using today. You know when it will work and when it will not work, just by applying this logic to it. Otherwise, there is no 95-5. It'll be a 50-50 market. So far, so good. Joe, does that make a little bit more sense? We're gonna get deeper into the hows. So, around this area, as the panic starts to overwhelm, all original buyers are like, oh man, whatever came out in the news here, it's actually really scary stuff. But I'm not sure if I should sell it. Some people are already getting rid of it. Some people are like, I don't know, man. This stuff is... My buy has been working for so long, and then now you're telling me to sell it. I'm not sure. And here comes the icing on the cake. Another news comes out. More dramatic, more aggressive. Okay, man, you got me. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to sell all my shares. I'm going to sell all my stock. I'm going to foreclose my house. This is when everyone takes their action. You guys agree with me or no? You guys see this in real life happening as well? In every walk of life, this is exactly how the market works. Right? So, if you pay attention to this, then you'll notice trading is not a game of, can I draw a line from left to right? Or can I connect the dots to make a trend line? Or do I know how to draw a Fibonacci retracement? No. No. You can sit there and do that all you want, and you'll be like, oh man, one day it works so perfectly, and the other day it's like, it doesn't work at all. Oh yeah, of course I made a simple drawing mistake. Of course you're going to make a drawing mistake. There's going to be a drawing mistake all the time. Every once in a while you'll be right. But how do you know if it's going to work every single time? If there's no consistency, how can you make money? So the world is so busy saying, how can I draw better? How can I draw better? What system is better? What indicator is better? Come on, a better indicator, a faster indicator. Okay, that's not working, so let's combine 50 indicators. Maybe we'll find a unique golden goose that shines. So you got to understand the logic of trading. Why is trading there? Why was it built? Okay, core concepts. Okay. All right, after this panic happens, when sellers get aggressive, and then you can see the world is actually trying to sell it now. But then we notice this pattern come back very aggressively. That's when you know the big boy is stepping in. Because why is it so aggressive? Did you move the market? No. Did I move the market? Absolutely not. So why is it so aggressive coming back right when it's in the obvious area? That means that's the price. The big boy says, perfect. I like that price. That's your first clue saying, if you want to get in before the world can even see this, because they look at this as a downtrend, you better get in now, boy. You better get in now, because the world is going to start getting in up here. They need to get stopped out and scared and then think about it and then confirmation. They want to get up there when their MAs and systems all turn upwards. No one thinks about getting in here. Make sense? Does everyone make sense? Does that make sense? So it's a combination of using, I'm sorry, we went from live analysis today all the way into education. But like I said, I don't want to leave you guys hanging as premium students at FX Street. FX Street's a great place, wonderful people, and I do share as much as I can whenever I can. So, okay, you want to see these concepts at play? I'm gonna show you something really cool. I'll show you guys concept at play with money. Here, I'm going to show you my students and my traders. Yeah, we'll go over the chart one more time in a bit. Let me just log in real quick. Sorry. I'll show you the back end. Okay, there's one of my traders here. All right, he's looking at this on EuroCAD. Okay, he's stalking this. They discuss it in the conference room as well. And they're looking at this, and he hits the buy. Notice where his buy, okay, the gray part is a stop loss, and the green part is take profit. Why the hell is someone buying in a downward crashing market? Because he understands the logic of how money is actually being made. The same concept over and over and over again. If I was to draw a trend line, wouldn't this be a downtrend line where this guy entered? Yeah, isn't that a downtrend line kind of thing? Or MAs pointing downwards and lower low sequences. If it's a lower low sequence, that's a downtrend according to technical language. Why are you buying, you nutcase? How's that even possible? Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And you know, I'm in a good mood today myself. That's why I'm sharing some stuff that I only share with you know, some of my one-on-one students and stuff like that. It's the core fundamentals of having a breakthrough in trading. If you really want to make a difference in your trading, step up the game by looking at the market for what it is. Stop drawing all over it. Okay. Abdul, sorry, you said, is it possible to go over the chart? Possible to go over one more chart? Well, this was one example of a trade that happened today. This is EuroCAD. Let's take a look at EuroCAD real quick. Any other charts you guys want to look at? We can briefly scan through it real quick. There's this entry here. Pound USD today move in the morning. Okay, let's take a look at that, Robert. What time frame do you trade, Robert? This move right here? This buy move right here? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, perfect. So let's take a look at this. I want you to start, okay, stop thinking in terms of technical. Okay, if you trade the 1 hour, let's treat the 4 hour as the big boy, the guy just one time frame above. Okay, the 4 hours got you saying a couple things. Okay, let's do some technicals on the 4 hour. We got a downtrend line, right? We got a sequence that was also downtrend here, but then recently it made a equal bottom. Okay, which means, oh, could this be turning into a range? We're not really sure what's going on. Okay, but earlier we can also see the same thing here. Prices come to this area and they zoom up. Prices come to that area, they zoom up. Prices come to this area, they zoom up. Prices come to this area, they zoom up. What does the big boy want from this price? What is it about this price that he really, really enjoys? We're going to mark it. That catches our eye. Okay, while we have that drawn, we're going to go down to the 1 hour. If prices get closer to our area where we've noticed a big boy is interested in, all we want now is to go to a lower time frame and watch the little boys get in on the wrong side. Okay, so we're going to go into the 1 hour, and we first want to see in this uptrend that was developing, at what point do people start thinking like a seller? Is it the moment, oh, sorry, too big. Is it the moment when this sell happens right here? Do you think people are thinking sell at that time, or are they still buyers? Okay, would you say they're sells, or are they still buyers? Still buyers, right? Because they can see this strong uptrend, so they're like, oh my God, that's definitely a buyer, man. There's no way that can be a sell. But when this thing happens, look how far that collapses. They're like, what just happened? Which means they're shocked, but no one is selling. If you want to be a buyer, you need activation of sell. Right now, they're shocked, they're stopped out, they're confused, they don't know what's going on. And then they're like, okay, I guess it's coming back. Come on, man, come on, man, come on, man. And then the sell comes in yet once again. Aggressive, aggressive sell again. Now they're like, that's it. It's not a buy. It's turning into a sell. It's going to be a downtrend. I know it's a sell because look, support equals resistance. Look at this. This is all support resistance and this and that. They're going to start drawing it up to make themselves satisfied that that's a sell without knowing that they're participating in the market by just following the flow with emotions. Once this thing, just like we discussed in the previous one, gets caught up very aggressively back into the buy, that tells you, Robert, your big boy says, I like this price and I got enough sellers that I wanted. All buys in this area now become valid because no one is thinking of buyers in this area. If I draw a downtrend line, no one sees a buy there except the big boys buying there. Everyone is going to start buying up in this area because this is their panic and shock. And they're like, what happened again? What happened? What's going on? Does that make sense, Robert? Yeah. So what about their exit? Exit is the same way as you're entering. If you're going to be exiting, just think, am I too out in the open? If I'm a buyer, am I too out in the open? Okay. So first you think, is this the panic or is this the participation? Generally, the first move is always going to be a panic, and the second one is when they all start to jump in. They're like, oh, I guess it's going up, so let me start jumping in. So you have until several swings to be like, I need to get out after several swings, otherwise it's going to be too late. Does that make sense? Yeah, marked up and down for London Open. Don't think about that. Don't think about that. Don't think about gaps. Don't think about where's the price at London Open. You know, where is the price on the daily chart at the closing price exactly. These are all techniques and strategies of if I look at this again and again and again, according to history, something happens. Don't do it like that. If you don't use whatever I'm doing today according to history, there is a valid reason. Um, you want to use logic of all these candles are nothing but receipts. So what's the receipt telling me? From the big time frame, obviously the big boy is very interested in buying. We can see his buy behaviors coming in. But if he needs to buy and he hasn't bought further yet, that means he needs more sellers. He needs more sellers. So he's collecting sellers along the way to add to his position, to add to his position, to add to his position. Okay? All right, guys. So that's all the time we have for today. Sorry it wasn't a live analysis, but I do wish that whatever we taught you, whatever I taught you guys today was absolutely phenomenal. If you had aha moments, I'd love for you guys to be students of mine at Urban Forex. Otherwise, I will see you next month with FX Street. I thank you, FX Street, for having me here again. It's always a pleasure. Until next month, guys, take care. Have a good day. Bye for now.